Hey everybody, Mike Downer, Chief Storytelling Strategist with Jar Consulting Group. One of these days I'm going to be able to say, Kevin, he is my boss. This is Kevin Wosmansky, the president and CEO of the Jar Consulting Group.
Mike, do we need to shorten that title for you there, buddy?
Yeah, just, I think it should just be loudmouth talker. I mean, it'd be way easier to say. Chief Storytelling Strategist.
There
just
you go.
A lot of C's and S's. All right, buddy. So we're getting back into this here. This is our fourth episode on the search intent shift and how to close the gap and win brand citations in 2026, part 4. So Kevin, we've talked about how critical it is to get cited by AI as a source of truth. But I have a couple questions here wrapped into one. If our brand is mentioned on Reddit as one thing, and then it's listed on a website as another thing, and then described differently on our LinkedIn bio, how does an AI actually know all these citations belong to the same Jar Consulting Group entity? And also, is it possible for AI to get confused about who we are, and even if we're being talked about everywhere?
Mike, I would say that could be the multi-million dollar. No, scratch that. I'd say that might be the $1 billion question for 2026. And AI search engines, they don't really comprehend brands. They don't understand brands the way that we people do. So what we need to realize is that AI, they look for stable patterns. So think about this, if your brand name, if your company mission, if your expert voice, if they all vary differently across, let's just say, Reddit or LinkedIn, or, maybe on your blog section of your website, what's happening is you're creating what they call interpretive friction. And what that means is what it means is AI starts to see you as 3 weak entities instead of one powerhouse. So this takes us into a really important phrase we're going to talk about, and that's semantic consistency. And what that is again, real fancy speak here, semantics consistency. It's how we engineer the signals so that every mention, no matter where it happens, it all maps back to one single trusted node or source, which is the AI's knowledge graph. And so when AI is 100% confident that it's you, that's when the citations really start to happen.
So how does a company gain semantic consistency? How do they engineer that? How do you get AI to even trust that?
Yeah, it's through a lot of work. So it doesn't happen overnight, I'll tell you that. Well, some brands, when you take a look at, let's say Coca-Cola, right? Just using them as an example, multi-billion dollar brand, recognized, worldwide. Well, they already have it, but they've also spent, just gobs and gobs of money to do it. Most of I think your small to mid-sized businesses, they are pretty fragmented. So when we talk about semantic consistency, we need to think about it. It's the practice of using coherent, uniform, expert-led language across all your digital platforms. And then what this does is it reinforces your brand or your company's entity signal. Okay. I'm introducing a lot of new terminology here.
So what's an entity signal?
well, your entity signal is your consistent, coherent voice. So by aligning the terminology that you use about your business, your product, your service, you need to align the terminology across your website, your social platforms, your podcasts. You need to do this so you reduce the interpretive friction for AI models. And I know in my business, we'll have a service. We could say, in the past, we would say SEO. Well, SEO could refer to Google local SEO, could refer to Google Maps, it could refer to search engine optimization, it could refer to backlinking. And so if I'm using 4 different terminologies, but we humans understand those are all really the same thing. The problem is AI doesn't understand that. And so when you are using one entity, one brand signal, one consolidated voice, this starts to build statistical confidence. for AI to recognize you as a canonical source of truth. Okay. So with AI, everything goes back to what's the source of truth. This leads to much higher citation rates, and you start showing up when people are asking questions. So
real quick question for you. Looking at the past and the inconsistencies that people have that didn't seem to matter as much back in the day, with AI, they matter a lot more. Is there a way that JAR Consulting Group can help sort that out and start building consistency with the company, rather than them trying to figure all this out on their own? Because it sounds very complicated.
It is. And people, that's what we do for a lot of our clients, is we're helping them navigate this web and doing all this. And so, yes, absolutely. I mean, your brand consistency as we move into this new world. And what we're talking about right here, Mike, with semantic consistency. I mean, again,
Yes.
real fancy speak for saying, listen, you need to make sure that everything that you put out there, it is consistent. It's coherent. If you're a roofing company, you need to use the same terminology on your social media as you use on your website, as you use, if you're being, interviewed by the local news station, you need to use the same terminology for what you do and who you are. And that is what we help businesses with, right? We help them across the whole digital spectrum. Let me give you an example here. So
I was just going to ask you, do you have an example of a client who you've kind of helped sort this whole mess out and
let me give it to you in a little bit different scenario here. So I want you to think about like this. I want you to think about AI as a librarian versus, so the AI librarian versus the AI brain or traditional search. So traditional search is what we're going to call the brain. AI is going to be the librarian. So traditional search used to act like a librarian matching keywords to book titles. Okay. So AI search, so AI search 2026 acts like a brain connecting nodes or entities and relationships. So the citation trigger in this is, what you're seeing is where the librarian basically, matching a keyword to a book title. AI it's that brain. So inside that library, it's connecting the book and the card catalog, and it's connecting, the other 4 books that are, series or after the first book. It's connecting all of it together. So I use that as kind of a convoluted example, Mike, to try to explain that a business in today's world has to be able to speak with one brand voice on their services, their mission, their topics, everything that they do, because what AI is doing is it's trying to connect all these different signals. And, just in our world, we do what we call generative engine optimization, GEO. Our service and our business is called AI Search Engine Authority. And what that means is when we talk to our clients about how we help them, we say, listen, you need to become the search engine authority. And to do that, you have to become the expert. So now we have to take your website, all of your social media, we have to do, all of your interviews and all these other things. And we have to get it so that it is very consistent, semantic consistency, right? So
I think I'm catching on.
We're engineering the signals that AI systems trust is really what it comes down to. So
I think I'm catching on.
Yeah. So that's really what it comes down to. And there's a lot of new terminology I'm throwing out here at you, but the thing about it is this is how things are changing. So with this terminology, this stuff matters. So
you're doing a good job of keeping it simple where, even stupid guys like me can understand it. So I appreciate
that.
All right, Kevin. So I think that wraps up our little 4-part series on this. I'm just excited to see what your customers want to know about next and kind of what you're getting hit up with at JAR Consulting Group.
So, well, like I said, Mike, our whole goal is we're just trying to help prepare all of our clients and our customers for not what's coming, for what already came. And I think a lot of people have kind of been caught by surprise with how fast things are changing. I just had a client of mine tell me that he had 2 customers called him and he asked them, how'd you find out about us? And they both said, well, I found you on Chat GPT. And so,
Great.
you know, when I'm starting to hear this every day, 3-4 months ago, I talked to my clients and they're like, well, you know, I mean, I would never hear this. It's coming, it's here. So what we're doing is we're trying to help prepare all of our clients, and it starts with trying to educate them. So,
Right.
I mean, you know, we're kind of closing out this little series that you and I, you know, that we came up with, because this is what people are asking so much questions about, how search has shifted.
Oh,
And to
100%.
really
Yeah.
understand that, it's like we said, I mean, the traditional 2 to 3 keywords, that is, people are still using it. It still matters today, but it's going to matter less and less and less every single day, every single month, the rest of this year. People need to understand that prompts, there is a giant gap between 2 keywords, 3 keywords, and a prompt or a conversation that a customer is going to have with an agentic model. And then, you know, people always ask me when we do this, well, tell me, how do I get the AIs to recommend me? Well, guess what? Your brand must be cited, and it must be reputable, and AI must be able to understand that all of the signals that you put out, they're consistent, so that AI is confident to recommend you. So we have to work with AI. We have to make sure it understands. There's a lot of technical stuff. You know, we haven't even talked about schema markup. And that's a whole nother conversation, but that is just putting code on your website so AI can read it. That's all it is. But again, that'll be a whole nother conversation. So
You've done a good job of explaining the foundation of where things are going. I know we still have a whole skyscraper to build, but I think you've laid a good foundation of you know where to start and how to start and why to start and why it's important.
appreciate that, Mike. And like I said, it's a whole new world we're in, and we're just trying to help educate people. That's the whole purpose of this. So
Sounds good. I think we're all learning every day, and you're just learning it a little faster than the rest of us. And you're doing a great job.
I appreciate that, Mike. I'll see you next week, partner. Have a good one.
Sounds good.